I'm Keckers, and this is Transformers 1. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe? Let's get started. Before we begin, I have to say, I am a huge Transformers fan, as anyone who's been on this channel obviously knows. And I was super excited and super worried about this. After all, this is the 40th anniversary of Transformers, and it is also the second animated movie in theaters in the history of the franchise. I have no idea why it's taken this long to get a second animated movie after all of that live action nonsense we've had for decades. While I would have liked some of the original voice cast from the series or some of the cast from some of the other animated shows like David Kay or like anybody, I did not need Peter Cullen. I did not need Frank Welker, but there's plenty of other people like Gary Koch who've played these characters. All right, let's get it out of the way. The cast that they did get is good. Is good. I enjoyed most of the performances. I enjoyed Chris Hemsworth. I enjoyed Brian T. Henry as T16 Megatron. Scarlett Johansson. I think a little underutilized as Alita. Keegan-Michael Key was actually pretty funny as Bumblebee. Even though I was a little worried about his performance. But no, it worked. Though he's never actually called Bumblebee in the movie. Man, it makes sense though. I mean, they're not on Earth. There are no bees. Why would he be called Bumblebee? He's his own character, someone who will become the Bumblebee. Lawrence Fishburne is even Alpha Trion, and he is very much enjoyed in the limited screen time that he does have. Now, as for the movie, this takes place on Cybertron. It is a prequel to. I'm not even going to say a prequel to the Bay films. I'm not going to say a prequel to the cartoons or comics. This is a prequel to its own thing. It is set up for their own Transformers 1 continuity universe that I'm hoping they actually delve more into because the way they have these characters, the setup, it is good. And as for setup, this is set on Cybertron after a war with the Quintessons in which the 13 Primes were lost. So Sentinel Prime is currently in charge of the planet after the death of the 13 Primes. And Cybertron is not doing so hot. There is a caste system, which is something that appears in a lot of versions of Transformers, where the Transformers, the Cybertronians who can't transform, the Cogless, are the miners who are harvesting energon from the core of the planet in order to keep the planet alive. Because after the war, after the loss of the Matrix leadership, energon is not being produced to feed the populace. So, Optimus Prime, who at this time is Orion Pax, is just a humble, lowly miner who can't transform, along with his best friend, D16, the bot who will one day become Megatron. And this is a story of their friendship and their falling out. They start off, and the movie does a really good job at showcasing the friendship between these two bots. It does a really good job at showing like how much they care about themselves, how much they care about Cybertron. Orion Pax is the dreamer. He is the one always trying to seek out what's there and to push the envelope and to just. He's the Disney princess who wants more. And D16 is the one to keep his head down, who believes in the system. He believes that as long as you do what you're told, good things will eventually happen. They work together as miners, and Optimus Prime, Orion Pax is someone who gets him in trouble as he's trying to push things to the future. Eventually, circumstances come about which lead Orion Pax, Bumblebee, D16, and Alita to the surface of Cybertron in search of the lost Matrix. Once they're up there, they discover hidden secrets about the world, conspiracies, and they have to band together to wake up their populace to the evils of their society, to how the elites are working over and controlling the downtrodden and taking the resources for themselves. Topical! The story is very profound in terms of like what it's trying to show about like the different sides of how you can reach the same goal, or how two people who are following the same path can diverge so strongly. The movie looks gorgeous. The shine on every metal surface, the the transforming and shifting world of Cybertron, from the roads changing to the mountains changing. There's a race in this movie in which like the track changes. It reminds me a lot of Ready Player One. The sense of speed for all the vehicles, the chases, it is very much there. This is something that is like super fast paced, which fits its runtime of only an hour and 44 minutes. I mean, like, this is a fast movie, and they have a lot that they need to get done in it. Now, as you were saying that this is like Optimus Prime and Megatron before they're friends, you see that friendship and you see the fracturing of it. My one problem with it is that the shattering of the friendship seems a little too abrupt. I mean, yes, you don't have a lot of time. Because of that, I would have preferred if they stayed friends the entire film. But no, you need to have your obligatory Optimus Prime versus Megatron. It's going to happen in the movie. They even show it in the trailer, so yeah, that stuff's out the door. There's lots of different forms from the characters. You see them in their lowly minor forms. You see them as they're given the ability to transform for the first time and become larger, stronger, and the changes, the shape shifting, the transformations in this movie are smooth, fluid. It's super dynamic. It really makes you just want to take a toy and shift it all over the place into something. You have your core cast: Optimus, Megatron, Alita, and Bumblebee. You do see cameos from other characters like Ironhide and Jazz. You do get a bit of Starscream and Soundwave, but these people are kind of just they're kind of just there. They don't show as much importance to the plot as these four. Are you going to be upset that your favorite Transformer may not be Spotlit? Hey, it happens. There are a million Transformers out there. No one's going to always get to see their bot on stage. But yeah, the soundtrack is good. The sound design, though, is really where it stands out. The sound of metal on metal, wheels on the ground, engines revving, the fights, the everything sounds amazing. Another problem, which is something you're always going to deal with when you're dealing with bots on Cybertron, is a sense of scale. The planet, everything happens on the planet, is big, and you get a sense of scale for that. But you don't get the feeling that these are giant robots, because when everything is giant, nothing's giant. So these come across as just normal size, fast moving people doing these things rather than giant robots, which is something that you miss out on when there are no humans in your story. But yeah, the movie is good, the story is good, the effects are good. See this in theaters so you do get that sense of scale for the planet itself and all the changes that are going on with that. The friendship does make sense. The breakup, while fast, does make sense. And it is something that you will dread. You'll dread when you see it start to happen. And when it does happen, it is heartbreaking. Watch it, enjoy it, love it. This movie is for Transformers fans. See it in theaters, and then write in the comments what you thought about it, because I enjoyed it and I want more of this. The movie does end not on a cliffhanger, but just in like a lack of resolution. Like I said, it's an hour 44 minutes, which means some things that are set up in the film, some conflicts that are set up in the film, are not resolved. So hopefully they are planning on doing more, and hopefully this does well, so we can get more bots, more cons, more everything for the next one. Until then, I'm Keckers, and I will see you later, taters.